Look at that. Look at this. Is nice. See? Look at that. We got video. We have comfy chairs for the second week in a row. We have a guest today. Are you ready to this?
Yeah, I'm ready to roll.
You're ready to roll. Okay. We're good?
Yep.
You look good. It's good. Yeah. We're doing just fine.
I feel good.
You
know
feel
what I'm
good.
saying?
Okay.
We get comfy here.
Okay. Get your cardigan on. Everybody knows cardigans mean
you know what?
What?
It's weird, but I've been wearing sweaters at home for the last 3 days.
Are you cold? We just got out of triple digits, and it hasn't been a day, and then you just went right into cardigans. You didn't have this t-shirt day period.
I did. Well, it was shorts and t-shirts, but it's just nice and chilly in our house now, and I like it.
Yeah, well, I'm back in jeans as well. Today was probably my first day or second day wearing jeans. It's kind of nice to be in there, but cardigans is a little stretch. I think it's a little much.
I wake up and I'm cold.
Is that a tie-dye cardigan? Is that there's a print? Hey, explain to me about tie-dye. Is it making a comeback? Because I'm seeing more and more people.
It was. I feel like this is in my face. Is it?
I don't know.
Why is yours
Because I'm
better?
Well, adjust it. Bring the arm down. There you go, and then bring it under you. There you go, like that.
Okay. We're still working out the kinks, apparently. What was I going to... Oh, yeah. So tie-dye was making a comeback for the last, year, maybe. But it's a very subtle tie-dye. But that's kind of in.
But it's weird. The only reason I notice it, because I don't pay attention to, female fashion, but the only reason I notice it is there's a lot of stand-up comedians whose, podcasts I listen to. When they come out of merch, they're coming out with, tie-dye merch. So I'm like... What's the deal? Is this a thing now?
It is. It came back.
Logan Paul and Jake Paul, they had a merch a year ago that was tie-dye. Mm-hmm. Whitney Cummings came out with her stuff. Her has tie-dye. Yeah, that's a real word.
Hers has tie-dye.
That's just to prove to you folks, you don't have to have a good education to have a podcast. It's your world. You can make up whatever you want here.
You can tackle it.
So what? It's making a subtle comeback. I don't understand. How do you subtly come back?
Well, like this. It's a little bit very of a tie dye, but very more neutral. I mean, although there has been plenty of things I saw that were still obnoxiously tie dye, but the stuff that I like is kind of like that. See?
And they're not. And it's not this hippie print tie dye. It's
classy.
But guys are wearing it. That's the weird part about it.
I can't do the really bright, obnoxious tie-dye. Can't do it and don't like it on people. Bright. Even shoes. Well, have you seen the Crocs? There's Crocs now that are tie-dye.
I could rock Crocs that are tie-dye. Because it's a little bit of being ironic. You're it's just that.
Because you're already wearing Crocs. Might as well.
My Crocs are camouflage. So I'm treating it almost the same exact. Yeah. It's the manly. Here we go. We'll put this into the universe. Camo is a grown man's tie-dye, and I'm willing to take that to the bank.
Well, tie-dye
what
is very visible.
Children,
and camo is not.
Women and children wear tie-dye.
It's cute when kids wear tie-dye. Yeah.
Borderline. It
depends. Yeah.
It's as cute as a noodle necklace. I get the principle that you made something, but let's be honest. It doesn't need to be worn. We don't need it to have in the house. I don't know where I'm going to put it. So there's no need for it.
On what occasion do you want to wear it? That's why kids can pull it off because they just go to school. But as adults, it's I'm going to go to a meeting. Here I am wearing my tie-dye shirt.
Oh my gosh. Fire that person. That person.
Immediately.
That person lives with their parents. Mm-hmm. Right? If you tell me that
we're going to get lots of people commenting that they love tie-dye shirts and they're happily married and with kids.
And they're wrong. And they're wrong. And then the same people who wear moccasins. And then there's the same people who wear sweatpants to the grocery store. They're the same people who have no cares.
By the way, this is the second date or podcast in a row we're talking about clothes.
That's fine. People need to
asking.
People want to know how we feel about certain articles of clothing. Next week it's going to be Ugg boots. We're going to talk about Uggs.
Yep. Whatever we're going to talk clothes seasonally.
Doc Martens were last week. This week is going to be tie-dye.
And next week, you dogged on my cute plaid shirt too.
When did I do that? Oh,
last
yesterday?
week.
Well, I think calling it cute's like it's a long stretch.
It's cute. And I like it.
I'm
going to keep wearing it.
It's different.
I'm going to wear it to the pumpkin patch when we go.
Oh,
I already have plans for it.
This is where you girls will plan an outfit seasons in advance.
100%.
I think just today was the first time I saw Halloween decor at the hardware store, and I was like, oh, here we go. Pumpkin patches. I actually asked myself this because first of all, we can share the story about the fair. You've forced me to go to the fair. And how do I feel about the fair?
You love it so much. You want to go every day of the week.
Hey.
And I have to tell you, hey, honey, listen, we already went.
Mm-hmm.
Let's just take a little break. And you're like, no, I want to go today. I want to go see Nelly in concert.
Am I 6 years old in this story? Wearing tie-dye?
Sometimes you act like it. Wearing tie-dye.
Oh, you said I want to go to Nelly?
Yeah, Nelly was in concert.
You was in concert. You bought us tickets or at least you.
I didn't.
You didn't buy Nelly tickets?
No, because you don't buy tickets. You buy an entrance into the fair. You buy a ticket to get in, and then the concert is like free.
How sad!
Yeah.
So did you buy the tickets to the fair?
No, because you buy them.
At the place.
At the place. Gate. Yeah, what would be the point? Which is good because we get to end up going, and I didn't want to go. But
hey, how much is Nelly struggling that he has to perform at the fair?
At the Idaho Fair.
I remember the first time I saw a musical group, and I'll disclose here in a second who it was. I remember the first time I saw a world-renowned musical group back in their heyday, and now and we saw them at Disney World performing for free. Well, I'm sure they were getting paid too, like the band, whatever. It was 98 degrees. Mm-hmm. They were at Disney World.
I mean, they did a great job.
They were doing
the sad part songs. Is that they were doing covers of other people's songs.
They were doing NSYNC and Backstreet Boys.
Because they're way more popular, so they were like, okay, what is the crowd gonna like?
It was so sad. They have to be in their late 40s, early 50s. These guys.
Oh, 50. Yeah. How old were they when? I mean, I was listening to these boy bands when I was 5th grade. That's a long time ago.
It was so sad, and they're doing it for free. Because I get it. If you're like, hey, we're going back on tour, and we're gonna do like a.
Do you think they get paid or no?
Oh yeah, they got paid by Disneyland to Disney World to get to do a concert. Much? It was. Listen, let's put it this way: they all probably brought like a couple of grand home, and that's it. That was like a gig. It was the saddest thing in the world. And so Nelly is
our comeback tour.
What's making them do this? Like, what's making Nelly go, hey man, I didn't make any smart financial decisions when I was at the top of my game.
Now I have to perform at fairs. Yeah.
It's so sad.
It is a little sad. But I mean, they have to have somebody come. There was another country artist that came too.
The people who are going to come are the people who are like, hey, I'm tired of being at the fair. Let me go. What's this music?
No, I'm saying they have to get somebody there, some kind of performer.
Yeah, get a local musician.
And usually nobody would come.
Next is going to be Evanescence.
Bring me to life.
There you go. Take it. Yeah. We were off and off.
That was good.
That was all right. I mean,
she's a little higher or lower?
Oh, she's super higher.
High pitch?
Yeah. Well, she's more of like a screaming. So I don't know how you establish screaming.
I don't want to try that. Maybe.
So you were saying somebody else is coming there? No.
Yeah, there was like a pretty. There was a country artist, and it was it Granger Smith, which is still pretty established. He's on the radio.
Still relevant.
Still relevant. So, I mean, maybe they just pay a lot to get these people.
I also wonder if, because I know the music industry got hit with this whole pandemic pretty hard in the very beginning stages. So I wonder if they're all like, hey, we'll take anything.
Maybe. But I also know the fair has been attracting for years and years, different artists. Well, I don't think they were. I mean, we've had some pretty big ones over the years, but not every year.
Name a big one. Kevin Federline decided to come up with a rap album, so he's going to the fair.
He's going to the Western Idaho Fair. Everybody, but I did see videos, a few videos on
TikTok.
No, Instagram, TikTok, on Instagram. It flows better. TikTok versus TikTok.
Or TikTok.
But when you say it flows better.
Well, I'm pretty sure if they named it TikTok, they would probably get sued by the people of TikTok.
I saw pictures and video of the concert, and there were so many people. We would have not had fun.
At Old
and
Dominion?
It's standing only.
Old
no,
Dominion?
no. Old Dominion at the Nelly.
Oh,
concert.
the Nelly. Why? I don't care about the Nelly. I care more about that we didn't make it to the Old Dominion concert that we bought tickets for a year ago.
No, it was like the beginning of the year. The concert that we were supposed to go to.
Let me have this.
I'll let you have it.
Let me have this.
Sure. So I purchased tickets a year ago.
At least.
At least a year ago.
See how easy it is to overreact and over-exaggerate? Yeah. It's so much easier. Who's going to go run the
I will. I always do.
Check? Oh, I'm sorry. Oh, the calculations are off a little bit. Turns out you're 2 months short. And it was a leap year. So.
That is totally me for no apparent reason other than correcting people.
And there's so many times like I'll do like a subtle flex on somebody, be like, oh yeah, we got like so many emails. You're like, well, it was like 4. And I'm like, please, would you?
I tend to undersell myself.
Why?
Than oversell.
This is so.
Because I don't.
You think you'll get to heaven and it's like, oh, well, you lied. Yeah. You had an opportunity to correct yourself.
You lied about that. No, I think it's just my personality. The people pleaser in me is like almost feels like if I undersell myself, then somebody else can't do it for me.
Well, but that's not people pleasing. People pleasing would be like, hey, it's been a year that you bought it. You're like, I don't want to disagree. Yeah, it has been a year.
No, maybe a little bit of both then. The people pleaser is more like I don't want them to think negatively of me. And so if I kind of put myself down a little bit, then they don't have something to use against me.
Whoa.
Like a prime example, like if you say, oh, Irina staged these houses and she got like 5 awards for first place, best decorator, whatever. And I'm like, well, it was only 1. Because then if it's almost like they don't have anything to use if for some reason they found out like it wasn't true or something.
But nobody's doing that. Nobody's going back.
I know, but in my head they are.
You don't have, and you were never bullied as a kid and maybe not even teased. And so for you to have that actual fear is like
it's
irrational.
Kind of irrational for sure.
You're like, to use against me? We're adults. Who's going to wake up in the middle of the night crunching their numbers? Okay, let's see here. This is 2016, 2017.
When did they get that award?
The awards filed.
Wait a second.
There's that loop. Like nobody's holding a trial.
Yeah. It's just how I've always done it. And
maybe we need to do these like practice over exaggerating with you, where we'll go on a topic and then I'll say, hey, okay, this is your time. Okay, remember
we practiced.
Yeah. And then so you're like, oh yeah, we had like five people.
But you know what's gonna happen? I'm gonna oversell it too far. It's gonna be too far. Like Winston with the pranks. So you guys watch New Girl. Winston. He either underdoes it or way overdoes it on the pranks. That's gonna be me. I'm gonna overdo it.
There's like 1,000 firefighters. Like, first of all, that's how do you?
No, there were 1,000.
What would 1,000?
I counted them.
I think Dane Cook used to have a joke about that. He's like, there's 1,000. Like, what are they all doing? They're just like running back and forth. Like, we need
just
more
running
hose.
Around. We need more hose.
Yeah. Just practice that and just oversell it. If you got a check in the mail, you can just bump it up by an extra couple of dollar numbers. That's
20,000.
20,000.
I think also, even though I never was bullied as a kid, I just always had a lot of self-esteem issues too. So I think a lot of it stems from that. Is kind of like I don't think that high of myself.
Mm-hmm. Interesting.
Well, that's probably a topic for another podcast.
Or
a counseling session.
Debbie Downer here.
Or a counseling session.
We're having fun of making
fun
of Nelly.
But I wanted to say congrats on 1 year.
1 year.
Of doing this podcast.
Oh, yeah. I was like, where are we going?
It could go anyway at this point.
That was the length of time that our hands just spent in the air in the slowest high five before making contact.
Also, it was like a touch.
So see, this would have been a perfect opportunity for you to like over exaggerate. First of all, yes, congratulations to you as well. But this would have been a perfect opportunity for you to over exaggerate. Be like, how long have you been doing it? Like, like 2 years.
Yeah.
But it's really been a year. But hey, guess what? Nobody cares.
But people know now.
And you know what's even more annoying? When people go like this. Has it been a year? Huh. No, maybe it has been a year. Okay. And like we're already 30 seconds into it and you're like, wait a second, let me go back. And so you start scrolling back on like the Spotify thing or iTunes, like, okay, first episode. Okay, hey, it's a minute and a half. I lost interest. I don't care.
But I need to know. That is why whenever we can't think of a word, I always end up.
Yeah, you stop paying attention. You start thinking.
No, I like it won't leave my mind until I have closure.
Closure.
I need closure.
Is this what you lose sleep about?
Yeah, I do.
Geez.
What is that word that we're talking about?
We got to get you on a Xanax prescription and just.
The weird thing is, I'm not an anxious person. I don't have anxiety in the typical form. It's more like when I'm going to bed, I have all these thoughts that start running through my mind, which I think everybody has. But
not me. I'm out. I'm so out. Now, the mornings are a different
for you,
story.
I guess it could go, either way.
Because Harper didn't sleep so good and we were both up between 3 and 4 a.m., I feel dazed today. And because I'm dazed, it was an extra rough morning where I was like just overreacting to like my thoughts and all that stuff. I'm like, what am I? I was like, this is not me. Like I'm clearly not in my right frame of mind.
At least recognizing it is a big step. Because I do that too. I'm like, why am I thinking about all this? And then I will kind of like backtrack and be like, why am I thinking about this? There's like no use to it and no benefit to thinking this way. Because I have that. I have like these irrational thoughts and anxiety of like what could have been or all the ifs. And I'm like, this is so pointless.
Why wouldn't you just have those conversations in the morning when your brain's still asleep? Like, I'm surprised that I don't know if it's just you guys, you gals or whatever.
I don't know. Mine's at night because I can't turn off my brain.
But aren't you exhausted from the day? Like,
yeah, but my brain will not like turn off. In the morning, it's actually the opposite. In the morning, I feel great.
Yeah.
I'm a great mom.
Boy.
I'm a great person. I'm
really?
a great wife.
So like all the irrational thoughts you had.
All I think about was like, I need coffee.
Really?
And yeah, that's really it. So like it's like switched for me.
Oh man, I would love to be on the other side of the coin. Well, I don't know if I'd love to.
No, it's
I like that. I fall
either way,
asleep
it's worse because I can't fall asleep. It takes me like an hour to fall asleep.
We should get you some medication. I'm kidding. No, let's not let's not medicate you on anything. Wow. This is a rookie mistake.
How unprofessional.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I think it's kind of fun to already be a year in of doing this podcast. And I kind of want to go back and listen to the first one again.
I don't, because it's kind of, I'm sure it's cringy.
You think so?
Yeah,
I feel like the first time I listened to it, I thought it was pretty good. So I'm like guessing, I wonder if maybe like the video is cringy because we were starting and I don't know, like we were still tweaking things. So.
I don't know. I think we came out of the gates like guns blasting, and I had fun with it. It felt organic.
Well, I would say the first two were actually probably one of our best because those were the two episodes where we kind of explained our stories and how we started our businesses. So it was really easy to talk about. Maybe our structure wasn't as like
on pace.
Yeah, we were probably all over the board, but we still are.
So what are you thinking this next year is going to be like then?
I am looking forward to having more guests on the show. I think that will be a fun dynamic, and having a new office space. I already feel like we both talked about this maybe last time, or maybe just not even on the podcast, but we talked about how even just being in a new space, kind of like our podcast studio, if you will, kind of brings a different vibe and energy to the
So you're
podcast.
trying to vibe and have more energy.
Yeah, I'm trying to vibe.
It definitely is. We're going back to video again. And you could see this conference table here, and we got 4 microphones around this table, and it's set up and convenient now. I am excited to have. We're gonna do some virtual guests just because we know there's a lot of really cool people to talk to, and unfortunately we can't get them here. But there's also a ton of people like locally that I'd love to like talk to them and that are
have them come in, and now we can, which is really
have a
fun.
Conversation and dialogue. I think it's inviting a third into our relationship.
Maybe a fourth.
Maybe a fourth. That's who knows. I mean.
Yeah, and then eventually we'll have some fun stuff because you can't really see it in the background.
What kind of fun
Your
stuff?
cool picture. No, like
my cool picture.
Yeah.
Look at this cool guy over here.
You can see like the bottom. I don't know, just something, a cool backdrop, if you will, and then it will just be a cool studio, I think.
Yeah, we're gonna have to
make it our own, and
we're gonna have to do some tweaking for like
it'd
sound
be fun to do, like, because we'll do built-ins
tools. You want like tools on the wall?
No, like a sign that says next door neighbors.
Yeah, that'd be pretty cool.
Like a neon or something fun.
A neon sign?
Or
Listen, I'm all
wood.
for it. I'm
Yeah.
just shocked that those words came out of your mouth. And
Well,
not
I've
mine.
seen them on like, I was Pinteresting, like podcast studios, and there was a few that had like a pretty, like a cursive neon sign or something, and I was like, oh, that's actually kind of fun. Or we can do it on that wall. I don't know. There's lots of
I'm all for
lots of
it.
ideas.
I'm all for it, but we do need to do some sound dampening so it doesn't echo off of the thing. So we'll get there, folks. Just bear with us. And if you're new to the old team next door neighbors, just hang in there. We're gonna figure out all the kinks and all the details. It's growing pains. Trust me.
It's growing pains, but stick with us. We're
Stick
still fun.
Stick it.
Stick it out.
So we have the next couple of weeks already planned out with guests. This is exciting. And here's kind of, if you were asking me, and thanks for asking, which you didn't. What am I looking forward to?
I was going to.
Well, let's make a natural transition. Like set me up on a pitch.
Excuse me.
Like tee me up.
Well, I was going to ask you.
Oh, okay.
I've been meaning to ask you. How do you feel about the podcast?
Bring this up on the Oh, this is about the podcast. I thought this was our personal life.
So
wow, you caught me off guard.
How do you? Yeah, I know you weren't expecting me to ask, but how do you feel about the podcast and the vision you have for the future of this podcast?
I'm very content about it. Unopinionated.
No, you should just say, I feel good.
I feel good about it.
And that's it. I
Shut it
feel
down
good.
Right
and then move on.
Yeah. Okay.
Anyway.
Anything on the news?
Yeah.
That's
or
happening?
just silent.
Awkward silence. Like between two ferns
good.
with Zach Galifianakis.
Oh man, the awkward silences. Nobody can do them like he can.
No, Zach. He's the best. I am looking forward on your end. First of all, there have been a few times that we'd have some friends over for dinner, specifically just people who've been our friends for a long time, and the people you have great conversation with. And there's so many times that we'll get on a topic conversation. What I don't want to really do with this podcast is when the people come in, I don't want to do this interview thing. I just want to have a natural conversation as if we invited a person over for dinner.
Yeah. I
want to find out if they have owned a business. Like, I'm curious a few things here and there, but primarily I just want to have conversations with people. And I don't know.
And in the process, find out more about them and get to know them better.
Turns out they've killed somebody. You're like, whoa.
You know? I would have never known that if I had interviewed you.
Yeah, you would. See, that's how you find out a killer. So this is kind of like a true crime spot.
It is. Oh my gosh, we need to change our description.
We lure them in and distract them. We'd be like,
all of a sudden, I knew it. We can call it us the Mosby Boys.
The
Yeah, the podcast. Gotcha.
The Gotcha podcast. You've been next door neighbored.
And you've been next door neighbored. Boom.
And we have like the soundbite. Doom, doom, doom.
Yeah.
So so many times we'd have dinner with people and we'd just have great conversations, whether it's, just like abortion or COVID vaccinations or
all of the things.
Just no kidding. If we would have all these like interesting conversations and you're like, wow, this would be a perfect podcast topic, but we never had a setup and it's such an effort to set things up. So it's nice to have everything set up that you just kind of roll with it, you know? Mm-hmm. So that's kind of thing. But
it's like at a table, where it fees like you're a little bit, I don't know, casual.
Mm-hmm, as opposed to...
And people are coming into our house.
We're standing.
Yeah. We also stand with microphones, at church.
But we make it more awkward where it's like we have the handheld microphones.
Yes, that's what I'm saying, with actual microphones.
And we're sitting in a circle.
We're like, and we keep passing, because we only have one, so we keep passing it around.
You pass the mic around to each other. Like, when I have the microphone, it's my turn to speak,
yes.
and then when I give
and then
it to
you have to pass it, so there's really weird, awkward silence.
I'm to say, raise your hand. Pass it over.
Pass the microphone.
Listen, I think it's a great outline, and I think we need to embrace it a little bit more. There's too much chaos, so people can say anything they want at any time. Like, I don't like that at all. You know where I was going with that, did you?
Wait, no, I didn't.
Well, yeah. Well, it was a joke.
Oh.
Yeah.
It'll be good, and I'm excited.
Yeah, I'm very excited for you too because you'll be there, which is cool.
Real excited about that. I get to be there.
No, what I'm excited for you is I'm already seeing, because I know this is so not you, right? This is so not you to be.
It's been quite the journey out of my comfort zone.
And we've done this whole thing where, like, in the earlier stages of the podcast when it first started, some of the first guests that were on, it was kind of like, because I have like this overpowering voice, you would kind of be like along for the ride and not really jump in too much.
I like to listen.
You do, but it's cool to see you kind of evolve to kind of understanding or having a feel for the pace of the conversation.
Right,
or whatnot.
right. It is. I think it's such a learned skill. It really is, like communication and learning verbal cues, non-verbal cues, like. Well, I guess non-verbal cues.
Punctuation, grammar.
Just anything
peas,
I know.
Small bearings, tiny things.
Dimes, ball bearings.
Etc.
Etc. Etc.
Yes.
Yeah, and so it's definitely, I feel like, a learned skill. That's why people take classes for it. But I always felt like I could never do it because I hate being on camera. I hate the sound of my voice in a microphone. I don't know what to say. I don't like being on the spot. I don't like being interviewed. I don't like, having to think of something to say. Mm-hmm. So. But
now you're all like, hey, boy, come on, you boy, give me some headphones.
Yeah. But I think
Mama's trying to hear herself.
Really easy, I would say pretty easy start for us because we talk like this between ourselves at home.
Don't out us.
Without the microphone.
Let the suspense. People are like, is this how they really?
Let it dwindle. You'll never know unless you come on our podcast.
Creepy invitation.
Come join
Come
us.
to our podcast. We will give you food.
Sometimes we'll give you water.
In a bowl.
And rice. And now I lost my train of thought.
It's all right. We did good. We
did darn good.
Well, we're talking about just having that pace for the podcast,
right?
Kind of the feel. It's
and I think if starting our podcast together and just having it be this natural, organic conversation, I think has been a good, way for me to get used to it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, it's awesome, man.
Accustomed to it, better at it. All the things.
Sweet. Yeah, no, it'll be fun. It's a great evolution of it. So today we have our first guest. We're going to take a small break and then, you guys won't even know it's a break. We're just going to transition.
How dare you? They would have never known it. Yeah. But you can introduce.
Yeah, we're going to introduce. His name is Beav Brodie. He is the owner of Tactical Baby Gear. Mm-hmm. Beav and I partnered together on a couple of sponsored videos. They have an incredible operation where it's like specifically for dads, when you have babies, they have these like rinky dinky, embarrassing polka dotted, which we've had a polka dotted diaper bags. And
right.
And even the carriers, they're not masculine. So this premise of like dads, having the baby in the front carrier, it's almost like not emasculating, but really like a soft thing, which like you should be proud. Your baby's there. You're caring for the baby.
You're right.
But the carrier itself is so dumb, that you're like, I might as well be wearing an apron, Mm-hmm. And Tactical Baby Gear, they came out with this exactly what it is, like these like tactical military style.
Yeah.
So this like chest plate carrier and the baby's carriers in there.
All of the accessories that come with it are like that military style camo, like really
fun. Yeah, FDE.
They have some cool products.
ODE, yeah, they're really cool stuff, and
we'll get to hear more about that.
It makes you want to, bring it along. And so I remember when I first just reached out to them, it was like, it's because I wanted to be part of that. I didn't want just to like have a sponsored video. Like I wanted to truly like use. You didn't want to
wear my cute leather diaper bag.
No, I didn't, and I don't think any guy does. Anywho, so we'll come back in a quick second. You guys meet Beav. Beav. I think you have to come a little bit closer to hon.
Okay. The only thing is on the video, we're going to be a little.
That's fine.
Okay.
You got it? This is our first time we made a studio in our office. It's like the first time we're
in your office in the new house. Yeah. This is in the new house.
Well, it's in the new house. Yeah.
It's in the office in the new house.
Yeah. Yeah. How annoying is that rug, huh? Yeah,
but it's cute.
I keep telling her like we have this rug, and like the thing with girls, they get these rugs. They look cute, but they're so not practical because you can never get that stupid chair with the wheels right on it.
Whatever, it's cute. But I also just I think it just needs to be bigger so the chair rolls on it the whole time.
Sure. Well, it sounds like we're gonna get a more expensive rug, so that's what we just found.
Yeah, bigger is always more money.
Yeah.
Like when you break that threshold in the rug from like 8 by 10 to like 11 by any, like it just doubles in price.
I know, it jumps like $300.
100%. That's exactly what I was just going to mention. I was like, hey, we could either afford this rug or we're going to make payments on this rug. What do you want?
Do you want the studio to look good or not?
And if it was up to me, I'd probably get one of those like bathroom rugs. You know what I mean? It's like, hey, it was about a third of the price.
Yeah.
There's a lot of casualties between all these rugs because they'll have like all these like anti-killing pieces that attach to it, like so the thing doesn't curl up as you're walking through it.
Oh, and like the rug, you got to get the rug pad so it's nice and soft and it doesn't, slip. There's all sorts of. And
there goes our grocery.
Goodbye. But it's gonna look great. That's all that matters.
Are you already pouring yourself an adult beverage?
Dude, I've had the worst freaking day, so I hope you guys are. I'm bringing some heat. I'm in some kind of mood.
Wreck it. Is it baby related or baby triggered? Tell me.
That has nothing to do with my kids. They have no part of like any stress in my life. It's
really?
Everyone else that
awesome.
I'm over.
It's everybody else in the world.
I'm telling you, the times where you just deal with nothing but stupid nonstop? Yes. That's today.
It always combines into one day for sure. It's not just like over like a course of a week. It's always like a perfect storm in one day.
Is it because incompetent people, and you can name bash them too right now, you're totally fine, because nobody listens to
it's
this.
It's a safe space here. Don't worry.
It's kind of between me, you, and Irina. Like
Let's set the stage here. Are we like going into it now? Are we here? Or you want to like do a special intro?
Oh no, we're almost wrapped up. So
yeah, perfect. Okay.
Well,
okay, cool. Cheers.
Yeah. Should we do like?
Let's do
introduced you.
Yeah. Say it again. Go ahead.
I was gonna say, what do you guys? Where are we at here?
Oh, no. So we've already introduced you. So we had our segment on the podcast already.
Okay.
And so we've already introduced you and who you are. So at this point...
We've already told everybody all about tactical baby gear. And so you don't have...
So I just ruined the whole flow. Got it.
We led the conversation. It was like, you might remember him from defunding the police. Beav, go ahead. Share your side of the story.
Also, he may have called you Breathe, not Beav.
Part-time comedian, like do you do stand-up?
I'm a full-time joke. That's what I am.
He's trying.
Jeez.
So Beav, we've already said how you're the founder of Tactical Baby Gear, and really what caught my eye with Tactical Baby Gear is the fact that guys no longer have to be wearing these fruity-looking. Can I say fruity, or am I going to get canceled for that?
You might. We can bleep
feminine.
That out.
Wait, don't call it feminine either. That might be like.
Oh, that's true. Yeah. That was my
stereotyping for sure.
That was going to be my first approach, and I definitely didn't want to get canceled for that one. Well, this really frou-frou looking diaper bag.
There you go.
We had one that was blue and polka dots, and the carriers, right? Carriers are expensive. We had the Ergo Baby, I think is that what it's called.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And it's the premise of holding your child in front of you is a very emotional and like protective.
Yeah.
It's a proud thing. It's no by no means emasculating, but that carrier itself is emasculating. You know what I mean? And then you guys came out with a solution to that problem.
Yeah. So you could tell us a little bit. Maybe we could start with just tell us more about yourself. I know that Alex was on your podcast.
Yeah.
Yep.
Which, by the way, I did a little dive into Tactical Baby Gear, and first time ever saw the how Alex's wife kills him clip.
She never saw the clip. This is great.
Did we not tag you in that one?
First of all, I can't believe you guys didn't tag me. Second of all, you might not make it past tomorrow.
So far, I'm getting canceled.
Here's what I just heard. You better sleep with one eye open.
Yep.
Right. Well, here's what I kind of got from the 7 minutes that you've been on this podcast. I'm getting canceled and I'm getting couples therapy. So
and you might die today. So
my year's going good.
Don't worry about the couples therapy.
You're going to be financing a new rug.
Yes.
No, we decided to go with the bigger one. It just made a lot of financial. It made a lot of sense.
Oh man, that was good.
I heard we were talking to one of our couples. So we know, you know how like couples talk and you're like, here, like which couple is having issues, whatever. And they're coming out of this whole thing where like the guy cheated.
That is our after dinner, post dinner conversation.
Oh, and also this is not an interview style thing. We're just hanging, right?
Yeah.
So they this is a couple way. they had they were fixing their marriage through you know some cheating and whatnot. And they're getting better, but what's funny is that will always be held over him. So we find out that she booked like an all-family trip to Paris. That's like the equivalent to getting that big expensive rug. You're like, hey, listen, you're not coming out of this.
If you're the one being wronged, you're making some choices there.
He will pay for it for life.
Right.
Yep.
Well, Irina, this is the first time you and I have met or talked, so it's nice to meet you. Yeah. Mr. and Mrs. Build It over here.
Yep.
And more. I mean, you've been in it lately. I mean, I'm watching.
Oh yeah. It's been. We talked about this recently because Alex asked me.
I mean, you pretty much built the entire water feature. You built pretty much by yourself.
And I hope people know that, and I'm glad you recognize that because that's all I wanted was for people to know that it was all me.
Yeah.
And. Yeah, so
that was a second drink he just poured himself. He poured first beer.
I'm telling you, it's been a day. It's been a day. I'm awesome. Like, listen, let me tell you. This is what's going on. Let me tell you. Here's the most recent situation that happened about 30 minutes ago. Okay, I'm in the video studio. Travis and I are recording a product video for a new product that's launching in like 2 weeks. So we're like trying to get this thing done. My wife calls me. She's like, hey, we don't have any water. There's no water pressure. It's just like trickling out of the faucet. No one else is taking showers or anything. I don't know what's going on. I'm like, okay. And we're on a well. So I'm like, all right, FaceTimer. How much water's coming out of the faucet? It's like drip, drip. I'm like, crap. Okay. So I'm like, go downstairs to we've got like this water closet where we've got like a water softener and where like the water tank is that holds the water for the well, all this stuff. Anyways, so I go in there, I have her look at that, and I'm like first thing I'm thinking of like, crap, there's like a water leak in the house, and it's all the pressure's going somewhere else. This is first thing. I'm like, this is okay. Stay calm. Just like, yeah, everything's cool. Just go check this for me.
What would Mr. Builder do?
Yeah, right. So, and I'm super calm always. Like very few. Like I get stressed out about dumb stuff. Like people piss me off. I'm just like stressed out. But like in very critical situations, I'm super calm, and it's almost kind of eerie. Nothing really. I'm like, I can at least think clearly because I'm not all like freaked out and worked up. So anyways, I'm like, okay, cool. Just turn the camera around. Let me see the thing. I'm like, okay, cool. I'm like, if you need to, you might turn that valve and just kill this water, So I'm like, all right, go to the circuit breaker panel. Let's see if the circuit breaker tripped for the well pump. I have her find the thing, and okay, it's number 10. Go check. I'm like, no, that looks good too. I'm like, all right, we'll walk outside. You know where the well thing is. Like, go to that. And it's like destroyed. I'm like, what?
The well?
The freaking plumbing from the well.
So it's flooding everything?
The landscapers, bro.
No.
Ugh. So I made a heated phone. I'm like, send me pictures of this. And what
just
they did, they knew they hit it. And they messed with it because there was a bunch of dirt dug up and rocks moved around and all this stuff.
They tried to fix it.
And then the electrical portion at the top of it, they like ripped it out and just let it sit there, they did that to stop it from, because it was just pumping water out. It was just going crazy.
Mm-hmm. Oh my gosh.
And so I call, and I'm like pissed off, obviously. Excuse me. And he's like, oh, well, those aren't the guys you want fixing it. Anyways, I'm like, I don't care about that. How about the lack of communication? How about, hey, Mr. Brodie, sorry, our crew hit the plumbing for your well, and we disconnected it so it didn't keep pumping water. We've got a guy coming. He'll be there in an hour to fix it, but you're not going to have water till then. Like, come on, give me a break.
There's a solution coming. Yeah.
Like, my wife's got to call me in a panic because we don't have water, and then I'm
yeah. That was baby at home.
With a newborn and everything else. Like, that was like the fourth thing today. So that one just sent me over the edge. So I'm drinking already.
That was the last straw. Yeah.
Well, at least it's 4:30 at least where you are.
It is. If
I do it here,
I'm done for the day. Like, so we can just we can go as long as you want.
Are you on the East Coast?
East Coast, yeah, South Carolina.
Okay. Is that storm done? or the hurricane? Is it all done?
Yeah, I guess so. It missed us. It went up to like New York and Connecticut, and so it missed us completely.
Explain to me this. You people who live on...
You people?
Yeah. You people are the same people, psycho group of people that I put in that live in like Arkansas, where like the Tornado Valley or wherever that is. Like,
Kansas.
Kansas. What? You guys know, statistically speaking, every single year you guys can lose your house, but yet you're like, no, we're still going to live here. Where does that come from?
Dude, it's a great place to live. I mean, it really is. I mean, it's beautiful where we live. We live like on a resort island. So we have like beaches everywhere. We go out on the boat anytime we want, you know, like, I mean, we're fortunate enough to be.
It's worth it, basically.
Yeah. And realistically, like statistically, it's very slim that something's going to happen. I've lived here my entire life, 36 years now. I've never had house damage to any house I've ever lived in while I've lived here.
Well, until that water goes into your house from the oil well.
This is what insurance is for, man.
I heard in California, with all the houses burning down, I heard that the home insurances like started modifying their policies where it's like, hey, we'll only cover you up to this dollar amount. So like you live in $1 million home.
Because it was happening too often.
They can't pay out. So they'll cover you $250,000 on $1 million home. So like, what are you going to do with that?
Yeah. I mean, I think that's screwed up. I don't know the answer to that, and I'm not really aware of that situation. I know we saw that same thing here where some people thought they were covered for hurricanes, because flood insurance and wind and hail is very different from hurricane. So once there's a named storm, the coverage changes and deductibles changes, and suddenly your deductible that would normally be, say, $2,500 or $5,000, whatever it is now $40,000 because it was a named storm. So and people weren't aware of that, and a lot of people weren't aware of that because we've never really had damage here. We are very fortunate where we live. We're in this little pocket on the East Coast. I'm trying to do this the same way that maybe you guys can see it. I don't know which way you're looking at the camera, but you know where Savannah, Georgia is?
Somewhere towards the bottom.
I want to say it's Montana.
Yeah. So we've been to Atlanta.
Yeah. He's gonna ask two immigrants, a Ukrainian chick and a Russian dude. Do you guys know where Atlanta is?
Wait, Irina, where are you from? Are you Russian too?
Ukraine.
Okay.
Yeah. So far still.
We are on the very southern tip of South Carolina. South Carolina is like a triangle, and we're at the very, very southern tip. And the way Florida comes up into Georgia and then South Carolina, and we have like this little arch through this area. But it's like this little pocket that hurricanes sort of skip past, right? So like we get really lucky. A couple of years ago, we had Hurricane Matthew come here, and it annihilated. We had hundreds of thousands of trees here down. And you're talking about an island that is 6 miles by 12 miles. It's not very big. Hundreds of thousands of trees going through like multi-million-dollar houses, just like falling through them.
Nice.
So it was
that's
bad.
not enough for you to. It's not enough for you to be like, let's go check out Texas.
Well, I mean, I took like 8 trees out of my yard after that.
So essentially, just helped you with the yard work.
A few of these down.
Yeah.
Well, that, and then I just moved. I don't know if this was a smart move, actually. I just bought another house that's on the marsh, so I've just got a handful of palm trees around the house. And I'm on the marsh, so it's like gorgeous. But now I just realized I'm like on the marsh. So flooding is a real possibility. I've got insurance for it.
What is
you got for your insurance? You're fine.
Dude, you know how few things stress me out anymore? Like, and maybe it's just, I don't know. It's just not important to me anymore. There's very few things like like in high school when you had your car, and if somebody would have put a dent in your car, you would have been like, it would have been the end of the world.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean? Like it was the thing you cared about the most, and then you realize you're like, well, it's just a Honda, or it's just a whatever. Like, it's fixable, it's replaceable. It's not the one of one. It's not unique. Like, everything's fixable. So, like, things like that, I'm like, well, if a hurricane attacks at my house, I'll just get a different house.
I wish I had your perspective, Beav, and I can't.
I like it. It's kind of like just you learn through experiences that life moves on. Yeah.
It's not the end of the world. Like, it really isn't.
So you're a very unique person, because last time I was on your podcast, you're telling me how you can eat anything you want and you're going to sleep just fine. And now you're telling me Now you're telling me if your NSX burns down, you're going to be like...
NSX is maybe a slightly different story.
Because the whole time I'm thinking, like, how do I be like Beav about the Porsche?
No, but ultimately, I mean, realistically, if something happened to the NSX right now, today, there's more of them out there. Like, I could get another car. Like, maybe it's not the exact same car, and maybe...
I was just going to ask what an NSX was.
It's the Honda... Well, it's an Acura, right? What is it, Honda?
It's an Acura NSX. It's like the Japanese Ferrari. It's a very rare...
And it looks like a very exotic car. Like, it looks like... You look at it... I bet you if you saw his car driving by, you're like, is that a Lamborghini? Or like you would say...
Our boys would point it out.
The boys would say, is that a Lamborghini? And I'm like, yeah, it's not a Lamborghini. Don't touch it.
Yeah.
Is that a McLaren, Dad?
But they are hard to find, and the values is just skyrocketed through the roof. So like replacing it would be difficult. But if I didn't replace it with that car, I'd find another car to replace it with that gave me the same sort of level of joy that I'd be like, eh.
Now replacing and insurance replacing it, that's a whole separate ballgame. That's the best case scenario. Now the worst case scenario is the fear where it gets damaged, but enough for them to fix it. And you're like, now when you come to selling that car, they're like, hey, by the way, a tree went through the freaking car. And you're like, oh, so it's a rebuilt thing now. Like it's been in an accident before.
Yeah. So here's something to know, because I come from an automotive background, right? So if in that case, you can get insurance to pay you like damages, I don't know if that's the right word, basically lost value. You know, you can get that like up front and be like, well, this thing's now worth like $25,000, $30,000, $40,000 less, and you can recover some of that. Now, on the flip side, because like my car in particular is so nice and so clean and low mileage and all these things, and I've wanted to sort of keep it stock and keep it preserve what it is, you know. So I haven't done a bunch of modifications and custom stuff and things like that to it. But if something were to happen to it, I would just go full stupid and be like wide body, turbo, crazy wheels, and just like
all the things.
Because like I'm not going to hurt the value of it.
Yeah. There you go.
Yeah. That's
the other. I would just be like, okay, well now I can do stupid stuff with it.
That's what it took.
Yeah. You're very much a huge fan of modifying things, and I really love and respect that. You started a series, and I think it's a YouTube series of modifying the Land Rover, right? Or
it's a Land Cruiser. Yep, Toyota. Yeah.
What did you? Are you into overlanding? Is that like a new thing? Where did that come from?
Yeah, that's like a new passion it's something I'm sort of getting into. I've had this Land Cruiser for like 10 years, and I never did anything with it, and everyone's always tried to talk me into selling. Man, why don't you sell that thing? That thing's just sitting there. Why don't you sell that thing? And until recently, no one really cared about an old Land Cruiser anyways. They were like, it's this junky old Land Cruiser. Why don't you sell that thing? It's, you know. I'm like, nah, one day I'm going to do something with this thing. And I finally kind of got that bug, and overlanding has become very popular. And now there's like just an influx of like really cool stuff for them and a lot of parts available and whatever. And the value of them has just gone through the roof. And I paid $0 for that car.
Well,
why do you think the value has gone up?
The Land Cruiser in general has like a cult following. And it's like it's just known as a very reliable vehicle. It's very capable. There's not a ton of them out there. So one of them, like mine's a 94, the exact same year, the exact same color, super clean, low mileage. I just saw sell for like $131,000 or something.
What?
Wow. Yeah. I mean, mine's not that clean, and it's got like a big dent in the door, and it's like, I could maybe get like 30 grand or something for mine right now. And I paid $0 for it because
how did that happen? How'd you get it for free?
Well, I used to own a custom shop, right? And I had someone come to me who I knew who needed some work done or wanted some work done on their Nissan 350Z, and they didn't have any money, but they wanted this work done, and her dad had just passed away, and this belonged to her dad. So she acquired it, and she's like, "This is junky old Land Cruiser. I don't want this thing." So I just bartered it out. I traded it out. I was like, she's like, I'll trade you the Land Cruiser for the work on the Nissan. I was like, cool, deal.
Oh, that's
sweet. And that's how I got it.
That's amazing.
Bartering deals are freaking sweet, man. I remember I had a Ford Explorer that I bought from a sheriff's auction when I was a kid. And then I drove that around.
You
I
were
think I paid
in your 20s.
Yeah, I was like,
He was a kid.
I was a kid. And then about a couple of years into it, I was like, you know what I've always wanted? I've always wanted like a cool, like a shop truck, something like like a Chevy, C10 or something like that. So I found somebody and traded straight across for a 1964 Ford F100, like this turquoise and white, this super cool, like big 4-on-the-floor shifter, 292 Y-block engine. And then traded straight across. When we got married, I drove our couches from Seattle to Idaho in this thing.
On Christmas Day, mind you, in a blizzard.
She's driving the Lexus up front. I'm in the back with this huge bus driving steering wheel that has like 4 inches of free play on it.
Oh my gosh.
And I'm like,
scary.
I lose control almost like 4 times along the freeway, just like skidding back and forth. Terrified in my mind. There's a hole about the size of a softball ball underneath the clutch. So anytime water would get there, you get sprayed with it from on the wheel well.
It was really fun.
The shifter was a beer tap,
13 hours to get from Seattle to Idaho.
Fuel gauge doesn't work, so I have, a jerry can in the back, and I'm filling up every 50 miles.
Yeah.
Good times.
Speaking of jerry cans, that's one thing I just added to the Land Cruiser. So the most recent video in that series, I built this custom bumper with the tires swing out and jerry cans and all this kind of stuff because that thing gets the worst gas mileage ever. And it's like this big, thirsty pig.
Oh, 100%. And they get heavy too. What's the name of your YouTube channel for this overlanding stuff that you're building?
It's just my name, Beav Brodie.
Brody.
And then I've got the Land Cruiser series is on that along with a bunch of other stuff. But yeah.
How did you get into overlanding? Because I have never heard of that. And just recently, Alex has been watching all the YouTube videos on it.
Yeah.
Well, so I just recently learned what it was.
Overlanding,
it's so interesting.
Yeah, well, overlanding is just like a new phrase for camping.
Okay. Yeah, I know.
I mean, that's
exactly what I thought.
Alex, am I wrong?
Aren't they just camping in their cars?
I don't like that part. I really don't like it. So we bought a nice like 30-foot camper for the kids and stuff like that. So you have a comfortable mattress, a good table.
Listen, we glamp.
TV. And so my videographer Kyle, he's like, hey, you should go. We're always recommending series to each other. So he's like, check out Expedition Overland on YouTube. They make high production videos. It's really cool. So I'm watching this stuff and I'm binge watching it. I mean, it's like, and she knows me. When your spouse knows, like, hey, you're consuming way too much content.
Also, like, you just started watching this yesterday.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden I'm an overlander. I'm like, don't tell me you're going to try doing this, right?
But it gives me, and this is what I like the premise of it, because it's like a very like doomsday prepper survival thing that can get anywhere.
Right.
But the problem is these guys that are presenting this are more of like, hey, we're going to go on a little adventure. I'm like, I don't want to camp in the cold. I want a nice Tempur-Pedic mattress to sleep in. But what I do like is I like seeing you get stuck and see how you
work
get
through
out of the
it.
situation.
Yeah. And those guys are awesome. I mean, they are, I think, the top of the game in terms of overland, especially with the video production. I mean, they are producing a TV show.
It's well done. It's really well done.
Yeah, I mean, they
have like
incredible.
the drama, the excitement behind it.
Yeah, and it's not like BS fake like people mad at each other drama. Right. It's just like, hey, we have to get from point A to point B, or we're gonna miss this ferry, and if we miss the ferry, then we're screwed. And Like, there's a little bit of that tension that they build, which is probably real, I'm sure, because they're going like across Alaska in the middle of January or what. It's like ridiculous.
What makes my palms sweaty every time I watch it is when they have to calculate how much fuel they have.
Oh yeah, I don't like that part.
I'm like, why are we doing this? Let's go home.
They made it. Oh my gosh!
I love all of that, and I'm excited. So I haven't, we've been on a few like small camping trips recently, but until the Land Cruiser's almost done, I've got a ton of stuff. I got some great sponsors behind it, so it's like I got a ton of really cool stuff coming up for that.
Do you take your family? Or is that?
We've been with the family in like more of a base camp type of thing where we set up tent and like camp out for like 2 or 3 days. Actually, the last time we did that, Brandy was like 8 months pregnant and she still went. It was
that's
crazy.
Impressive.
Yeah.
Do you know what they did? They did because you just had your third daughter, correct?
Yep.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
They did a pregnancy shoot thing where, it's like a time lapse thing. So like at every week mark or month mark, I don't remember, you had a shot in the same spot
the
that she's in.
Same position, same spot. Yeah.
Super cool.
Yeah. So you can see her belly just like morph.
It just grows. Yeah.
Her hair got longer. Her belly got bigger. It was really funny.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's awesome.
I think I tried to do that weekly, and then I lasted maybe like 3 weeks.
Yeah, like 2 weeks. Yeah.
I don't feel good. I don't want to do this.
I forced her into it every week. She's like,
good job. Yeah. I mean, there's so many times. Yeah. You just don't feel good. You don't want to do it.
And that's the thing with babies and pregnancies and all that stuff in general. It's like you really have to force yourself into it. But because you're just like, I'm just too tired. I don't feel like I don't feel good. But then later on, you're like, I'm so glad I did it because now we have this.
Thank you for forcing me into it.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
Hey, I want to shine as much light on Tactical Baby Gear as possible. What was the transition like? 'Cause that's such a weird thing because you said you used to have your own custom automotive upholstery shop, and so essentially it sounds like you're living the dream, doing what you love. And then you transition to like product development in a whole different direction. Like what made you go like, this is not my dream?
Or even just tell us how it got started, because I know you guys maybe talked about it, but
yeah, I mean, it's a real similar, either way, it's a similar story, right? So, and we didn't do just upholstery. It was a full custom shop. We did full builds. Like we were welding frames and like full custom car shop. Upholstery was just one of the things that we did there. And when I found out we were having a second daughter, it was like another baby, but then we found out it was a girl, and I was like, oh, son of a bitch. I gotta carry that purple bag again. And you know what I mean? Like that was the only thing I cared about, because I mean, I'm super hands-on dad, Alex, just like you. Like you want to be in front of your kids, and like this, it's very important to me that, especially to my first daughter, that I was the best dad I could possibly be, no matter what. And my wife was still working full time, and she managed a local place that, and she was working till 10 and 11 o'clock at night sometimes. And we were broke. I mean, we were so poor. And even though I was working on cars and building really high end stuff, there's not a lot of money to be made in that. Like, especially when you're like, all you can really do is bill for labor, and you got a small operation, and you're like, essentially you're like a one-man show that's billing for labor. I got someone working in an office, but they're just doing computer work. I can't bill for their labor, you know what I mean? So it's like, it was difficult. We weren't a huge operation by any means, but we did high end work. So anyways, we're super broke, and she was working full time, and I'm like picking up our daughter from daycare and bringing her home and doing dinner and bath time and all this stuff on my, I was like almost like a single dad, essentially. And we had this diaper bag that my mom gave to my wife, to Brandy, and she loved it, but it was like purple and
you have it, don't you?
I do have it. I do have it. Yeah,
I love
it's hanging up in our other building in the office, like
that's
in the hallway.
I love it.
Anyways, it's really bad. And when I finally brought it back in here, everyone in the office were like, "Oh, that's so much worse than you like describe." Like this all makes sense now.
Yeah.
So,
okay,
anyways,
this whole setup, yeah.
So then, so I had the diaper bag more than she did, and we find out, she's pregnant again. Great, blah, blah, blah. It's a girl. Oh my God, I gotta carry this purple bag again. I'm like, you know what? I don't have to carry this purple bag.
I'm surprised you didn't burn it or something.
Like you lose
it.
It was tempting. It was tempting. I'm really glad we're like borderline hoarders and keep a lot of shit.
Which is weird, because I saw your garage and it looks like something out of a magazine. You know what I mean? Your home garage.
Yeah.
So I don't believe this whole hoarding.
Well, my wife maybe a little bit more than I am. I used to, like, in the shop, I'm a hoarder because I'm like, I might need that. I might. Oh, don't throw those bolts away. I might use those bolts one day. You know how it is.
Yeah.
But
I'm the opposite. I'm like, I don't think I'll ever need this, and then like 2 weeks later, what did I do with those?
Where did I put that small rug out of the podcast room?
I call BS. No. I call BS. You have an easel in our closet, and you don't paint. Go. Why do you have an easel?
That was from Harper's birthday.
There's sentimental value.
Yeah, I think that's the difference. For me, it's sentimental.
Yeah, our kids might have touched that thing at some point, so we have to keep
on
it
that,
for forensics.
And it was the first time she ever sneezed, so we have to keep it.
Got to keep it, right. So anyways, I'm like, you know what? I don't have to carry this bag. I'm going to order my own. So I go online. Now, this is 2013. I go online, and this is like pre-Amazon, that kind of crap. And I'm like, men's diaper bag for dads, and like nothing existed. None of that kind of stuff. There was like maybe a black or a gray version of a diaper bag, but it still just looked like such a diaper bag. And I was like,
was the world like black and white back then? What was it like, old timer?
Back in the olden days, as my kids like to refer to stuff.
Yeah.
Like we were just talking about pay phones the other day, and
we were too with our kids.
Yeah, passed by one.
And the kids are like, "Oh, is that what they had back in the olden days?" I'm like, "Hold on now."
Our boy said, I said, "Do you guys know what a payphone is?" He's like, "Yeah, it's like that thing in Fortnite."
I'm like, "Oh, that's how you learn about culture."
Yes.
Awesome.
So, there's not like I'm like, man, like this is black and gray, but like this is better than the purple bag, but it still just feels like got a diaper bag.
Yeah.
So and I'm like a sort of a gear guy, guns and gear kind of guy, and I'm like, you know what? I'm just gonna make my own like a tactical style bag. I got all this other tactical gear. Like I want to make it like this. I like this kind of stuff. So with my background in car stuff and upholstery in particular, sewing stuff, I was like, I'm just gonna make a bag, that I want. And then I was like, tactical diaper bag. Like this sounds cool. And then I kind of make it, and my other buddies are like, holy shit, this is badass, like make me one. And I'm like, well, of course I'm not the only guy that feels this way. Like all my buddies are the same way. Like they want to be involved with their kids and be the best dad ever, but they also are kind of like, I really don't want to carry my wife's bag.
Yeah.
So it kind of like takes that excitement level down a notch. You're like,
so God. Do you think that's why deadbeat dads walk out on their kids? Is like, I don't want to carry that bag.
No, I think that's a mentality thing. I think, honestly, I think that's I think it's a generational thing potentially, of like they were raised without a dad, or they weren't taught respect, and they have screwed up morals, or whatever the case is, and they don't respect women, or they don't respect, whatever the case, whatever it is, or that's the environment they grew up in, so they think it's okay to just be like, well, screw that, I'm out of here.
Oh. Yeah, it definitely comes from a line of other people failing you, for sure.
Also, your joke backfired.
I know, my joke backfired. Now I have to explain. They're like, oh, no, I understand. It comes from trauma and hurt people. Like, I was like, man.
Oh, he went full force like, nope, that's not why.
This is my business. I know what's going on.
Yeah, don't you put it down.
No, anyways, so I made a bag. My friends were like, this is awesome. And I was like, yeah. And so then I started Googling. I'm like, tactical baby gear, like nothing like this. And I'm like, oh shit, this might be a cool little side hustle. I'm broke already. Like maybe I can make some extra cash. Mm-hmm. And so I'm like, I stayed up till like 4 a.m. and I'm like, Instagram handles, Facebook, YouTube. And then I go to LegalZoom and I start my business that night on LegalZoom. It cost me I didn't even have the $700 to start the business. I had to do their payment plan. You know what I mean?
Oh, okay.
It was pay $70, 10 payments or whatever it was. I was so broke. Right. You have no idea. And so I start that, and then it starts to get some traction, and Instagram starts to blow up. And this is 2013 Instagram, where things were chronological, crazy reach. Anytime you made a post, all of your followers saw it. So I had really good growth, and I had some friends that I made in the automotive industry that had 300, 400, 500,000 followers on Instagram. They were having kids. I sent them bags, and I get shout outs. And it just, it just kind of grows. And then I'm like, I can't do this. I can't make these bags myself and build cars and take care of now 2 kids. And so then it was trying to figure out manufacturing and all this stuff and blah, blah, blah. So then, it kind of just snowballed from there. Bring on a business partner. And then eventually financially, it made no sense for me to be working on a car anymore. I'm like, okay, this is a scalable business. It was just myself and Alex, my business partner. It was just the 2 of us. Actually, that's not true. Brian, who worked for me building custom cars, we ended up sort of stopping the car business once we finished the last vehicle, which went on to win a world record at Barrett-Jackson for the highest selling price of a Volkswagen bus. It was the last one we built. It was cool, ended that on a high note.
Right? That's a great way to end, yeah.
So we finished that up, and we sort of shut down shop, and then we transitioned Brian into basically customer service management and blah, blah, blah. But wow, it's been quite the transition, and then it's just snowballed. And then what's been really interesting, and I could go on and on and on about all kinds of different things in this realm, but most of a lot of people around me didn't think it was a serious business, and they're like, hey, can I bring my car by for an oil change? I'm like, I really don't work on cars anymore. Sorry. And they're like, well, what do you mean? I'm like, I'm just, selling diaper bags. Like, oh, like that's a real business. You can make money. Meanwhile, we're making like millions of dollars a year. And I'm like, oh yeah, it's okay.
We're doing good.
Hey, let me ask you this. So and a lot of people have this kind of the same hurdle to overcome. It's like every like dream kind of comes out of like necessity and like of being poor and broke and not wanting to be that anymore. How do you go from not having any money, being broke, to be like, I'm gonna start this industry that I'm gonna need quite a bit of capital? Like, how do you connect those two dots?
So one of the things I did early on, I was building Kydex holsters for a little while, and that gave me like immediate cash. Of course, I had to like make a good product, so I got into building Kydex holsters, and you're familiar with that.
They're gun holsters.
Like custom molded holsters.
I was pretending I knew, so I just
specific for like the firearm. And I was doing that for a while for like extra cash, and I used that cash to start funding and saving so I could get mass manufacturing done, because I didn't have that money then. And then I also brought on a business partner. I made him pay for 50% ownership of the business, so I used that capital as well. And then we kind of got into manufacturing, and then it just sort of snowballed from there. So thankfully, like my partner is like a super finance guru and like a numbers nerd and spreadsheets and all that kind of stuff. He comes from like a banking background, so like he understands that world. And when I think about it, I just want to like shoot myself. I'm really good at spending money. He's really good at saving
high
it.
five. Back to the rug situation.
Yeah, right. So about that rug.
All right. Do you want to hit them with our closers?
Yeah. Thank you for sharing that. That was really interesting. We have
for sure.
We're gonna start playing a fun little game before we close.
I can play a game too.
Yeah. This is. What are you doing? Angry Birds?
Is
your notepad? Oh, dad jokes.
You got a dad joke. Oh, nice.
I love dad jokes. Nice. Are you going to hit us with some?
Yeah, I'm going to get you at least one.
Okay. I have a couple of would you rather questions for you. So you could just answer, and we'll just kind of go through like maybe, 5 of them. Okay. Would you rather be always cold or always hot?
Always cold.
Amen, dude. We just had triple
rather
digits for like
hot.
2 months. Yeah.
I cannot stand being
cold.
Hold
on. I'm sorry. I have to change my answer because it's so hot
this
here.
Is like
we
always,
live in the South.
Yeah.
I think I'd always rather be hot because I just really enjoy being on my boat, and if it's cold, it's hard to do that. So
you look like you have fair skin, and how do you like enjoy being outdoors so much?
Yeah, I'm a ginger dude. So yeah, I mean, I don't know. I grew up here, so I'm just I'm used to the heat. 2, sunscreen is just my friend.
Right,
at this point,
and there's way more activities you can do in the heat than.
Here, personal question: are non-gingers allowed to call other people gingers, or is that like an offensive thing? Like can you go like, oh yeah, my buddy Beav is a ginger, like. You know what I mean? Like, I don't want to get canceled again.
I don't take offense to it. I think it's hilarious. Yeah. So, I don't know. I don't know how other people feel about it, but typically when I see other people, like other gingers, it's like, yeah, gingers unite, whatever. So,
I love it. There's community.
Yeah.
Okay, next one. Would you rather eat only cheese for 1 year or not be able to eat cheese for 1 year? Are you a cheese lover?
Yeah, I think I'd have to eat cheese because like pizza and mac and cheese are like basically my 2 top food groups.
Oh yeah, pizza.
This guy is like a 7-year-old.
To piggyback off the question,
5.
Hawaiian pizza, yes or no?
No.
Pineapple on pizza, yes or no? No.
No.
There's a disconnect with people.
I'm neutral about it.
There's disconnected people. Hawaiian pizza is a perfect thing because it's a perfect blend of like a little bit of sweetness with plenty of savory.
Sweet
and
and salty.
As soon as you put a few dashes of sriracha on there, we're rolling, man. We're cooking.
Yeah. Well, you're talking to someone who eats off the kids' menu, so.
It's chicken nuggets. Yeah.
It's always pepperoni and cheese.
Pepperoni pizza or bust.
Hey, I'll tell you what. Don't ask him anything that includes greens. Okay? He's not going to finish it.
No more food related. Would you rather live in a world with no caffeine or a world with no meat?
Ooh.
Oh,
That's a good one. That's a really good
Hard.
one.
Dang.
Do you love coffee?
There's no winners in this one.
Yeah, you're gonna lose.
There's no
I
winners.
think I could survive better with no caffeine than I could with no meat.
True.
I need the meat.
True. You'd
Because
have.
with the caffeine,
we're gonna clip that. You just saying I need the meat. Okay, so we'll just put that on a repeat on the social.
that will be a great
There's
clip.
gonna be a couple of eggplant emojis across the screen.
Beef
It's
says
gonna
he
be like
needs
the
the meat.
Yeah.
And it's gonna be like on a loop. I need the meat. I need the meat.
Someone give him the meat.
Can we make like a song out of it and use it on TikTok?
Oh, like the auto tune. Yeah. Oh, good stuff.
Bring the meat. Give him the last one. Here we go.
Oh, okay. Would you rather still be bathed by your mother or your grandmother?
Oh God.
I take it back. There's
Both
no
are
winner
bad.
in this one.
You really went there.
You gotta choose.
Really.
We gotta go.
Wow.
We gotta go full.
I heard of one, and I'll let you answer this question here in a second. But I've heard one where it says like, would you rather? It was like this horrible thing about like either being bathed by your mother or watch your parents like climax on video. like this terrible, horrible.
Neither. Never.
Dang.
But just the facial expressions. They're like saying just the facial expressions. Not that it makes it better.
Yeah. That's a tough one to answer.
I will
think-
probably
I guess
say my
I'd
grandmother
rather-
because she's a little bit more disconnected from reality than my mom.
Chances she'll forget too.
I think
forget.
I'd go with my mom
Your mom would bathe you. Interesting.
over my grandmother. Yeah.
You just lost your 2-beer buzz really quickly, didn't you? You're like and I'm dry again.
All right, guys. It's good to talk to you. No.
See
That
ya.
was some traumatizing stuff. Traumatizing.
Oh, I mean, there were some really, really like intense ones that I had to skip over.
Oh my gosh, that's incredible. I didn't realize you went
That's
so
funny.
dark because it went so light and airy where you're like, well, would you rather
Oh,
eat cheese or
pizza?
no coffee?
Yeah.
Well, you gotta choose.
Yeah. Listen, here I got a little piece of advice for you guys. Okay.
Yeah. Here's it. Okay.
Never go to a wedding in the winter. Someone always gets cold feet.
Oh, dad.
I like your hat, by the way.
My mom got me this for Christmas last year because she listens to the podcast and she knows every podcast I open it with a dad joke. She got me this, and it's been so good. It's been great because I used to like try to look some up and like I've gone through so many, and now I've got like a whole year's worth here.
You have a full Rolodex now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're set.
Beav, man,
good.
this has been a blast. Thanks for coming
sure.
on here. Where
Yeah.
could people find you, and where do you want them to look you up?
Yeah. So if they're interested in tactical baby gear, you can find us anywhere, like website, Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, all that kind of stuff, YouTube, tactical baby gear. Otherwise, I've got some personal stuff that we're doing, like the Land Cruiser series and all that stuff. Instagram, YouTube, Beav Brodie. Check that out.
And I think, I don't know, does my promo code still work? We could always plug that in as well. If you guys, right? Is that still effective?
I'll make sure it works. I don't remember what the deal was with it, but
I think it was like Mr. Build It 10 or 20 or whatever it is. But go look up the nursery video that we did. They were kind enough to sponsor the video there. And there's a promo code there. And if you guys want to check out some of their stuff.
Yeah. Awesome products.
Cool. Wait, when are we going to do a build off?
What are we building off?
I don't know. I just bought a new house. So like,
are you gonna build something and I'll build something and we'll go against, or what are we doing?
We should. The other thing is I'm building a house as well. So I just bought a new house, but we're also planning to build a house.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, beautiful.
We're gonna have to do something.
Yeah.
We'll definitely.
Yeah.
We'll
lots of
And
potential.
John Malecki doesn't stand a chance. Okay?
Yeah, John Evelyn
Also, he
Malecki,
lost.
man, he backed that out of the slap bet real hard.
Typical.
You know,
He couldn't take the heat.
he couldn't take the heat. You know, he saw that he made poor choices in the kitchen, and you know.
Then he regretted those choices.
And he keeps telling me, he's like, oh, you know, you don't want these bear paws on you. And I go, hey, buddy, I got a dead bear right here.
Oh yeah, you see that?
I know my way around a bear. Don't you put it on me.
It's always front and center right there. Look at
which decisions did he regret in his kitchen? Concrete countertops?
Well, I'm almost assuming that concrete counter. Well, the blue kitchen, the subway tile. I don't know. Where does this start? I don't know. So the biggest regret is that he came against the champ, right? You don't go against the kid.
think that was the regret, is going against Mr. Build It.
Yeah, listen. Russian paws. I'll put them on you. There you go. All right, man. Thanks a lot for coming on here.
Yeah,
we appreciate
it was great
you guys.
having you on.
Yeah.
You got it. I really appreciate you guys having me.
All right, guys. Check out Beav Brodie everywhere you can find him. Tactical baby gear. You will not regret it. All right, guys. We'll see you next time. Bye.